It's the semi-final of the Women's T20 World Cup here in the UAE. Time to figure out who's playing who. It's the first time that we won't see England or India in the semis since the inception of 2009. The first semi-final will be between Australia and South Africa on the 17th of October at Dubai International Stadium, a pitch that I think will certainly suit both sides. West Indies, who came top of their pool, will take on New Zealand in the second semi-final in Sharjah on the 18th of October. A pitch that tends to be a little bit lower and slower, though the West Indies seem to have the power to adapt to any kind of conditions. Australia's strength seems to be that they have so much depth that even if you take out their skipper, they can actually still perform really well. Plus, so many of the group have experienced World Cup semis and finals and come out ahead, so that gives them a distinct advantage. South Africa have a wonderful bowling attack, led by Marizanne Kapp, by Ebonga Kaka and their spinners Nonkululeko Malaba. So they certainly know how to put pressure on an opposition. The questions will be, can their batters fire under pressure? West Indies are on an absolute high after their last night's victory against England, and a part of me gets a sense that we're seeing a similar group that we saw in 2016 when West Indies went on to win the tournament. New Zealand, on the other hand, will be relieved to get through the semis because the last time they got into a semi-finals of a T20 World Cup, it was 2016. And their last few matches, they seem to scrap their way to victory. So they're not sitting as comfortably as the West Indies are, though they will be a lot happier that they're taking on West Indies compared to England, a side that they've hardly beaten in recent times. Key players for Australia, well, who do I mention? Everyone seems to be able to lift at a different occasion. One thing that was good was Grace Harris got a great opportunity. I think she'll like the Dubai International Stadium, the pace and the bounce. We probably haven't seen the best from Ash Gardner, so is this her moment to shine? And Beth Mooney will just do what Beth Mooney does, score runs consistently. For South Africa, key players to watch, certainly Marizanne Kapp. I think she'll lead with both bat and bowl. And whilst everyone will look at Laura Woolfard at the top from a batting point of view, look at Tasman Brits, because if she gets off to a great start, she'll put a lot more confidence in that batting lineup. And another player we haven't seen much of this tournament is Chloe Tryon, and we know that she can hit the ball a long way. For West Indies, have they played their best game against England? They'll certainly hope that that isn't the case, but the belief that they got out of that victory will hold them in good stead. When they're smiling, it means they play some really good cricket. I have a lot of respect for Hayley Matthews. She is a serious player who can cope under pressure. And it was great to see Deandra Dottin with ball in hand. When she bowls well, look out, because she's going to field well and bat well. For New Zealand, Georgia Plimmer. She has been able to take on the opposition bowlers and has allowed the rest of the batting order a little bit of extra time. It might be the last time we see Suzie Bates, Sophie Devine and Leah Tahuhu in T20 World Cups. So I would expect them to put everything on the line. So much will be lifting this New Zealand side to potentially a final, something that they haven't experienced in a very long time. Having played in ICC semi-finals and finals, as a player, you're actually really more nervous in semi-finals because you want to get to the final and then you let things take over. The main thing is keep calm, take your time, be very clear at what you're looking to do for every single ball. And because of the pressure situation, try and relax in between those deliveries so that you can make the right decision under pressure. Has to be Australia. They are the favourites, going for a fourth title. So many players have experienced this type of pressure and performed really well. South Africa, though, have beaten Australia recently, so they'll look back to that time and focus on what they need to do, but Australia certainly are the favourites. In the second semi-final, I think West Indies might have the edge over New Zealand, simply because they seem to cope under pressure a lot better than New Zealand, who managed to scrape their way into the semi-finals. Can they cope on the big stage? I'm not so sure about that. Whereas Hayley Matthews is the type of player who can probably go up a notch as well, which is really scary to think. All I can say is that I'm excited that we've got the 4 teams that we have in this semi-finals. It truly does show that the game of women's cricket is becoming global and we're not seeing 3 dominant sides. Can't wait to see who gets through to the final.